All right. There we go. We're back. It's the one and only the Hip Hop Hustle podcast. And I'm extremely excited about a returning guest of the show. So someone who was in my corner from the very beginning. I'm in his corner, obviously, as well. But man, I was looking back. I thought our podcast was in the 70s around that mark, but I actually checked. It was number 44. One of the
Oh wow.
first, yeah, really early in the show. We're now pushing over 140. So it's almost like
Wow.
100 episodes
Congratulations.
later. I appreciate it, man. And congratulations to you as well. Obviously, you're
Definitely.
coming back because you've had some pretty amazing things happen in your career as well.
Yes. Yes.
Of course, if anyone follows you, you might be aware, and you might have seen his album Above All on number one spot in iTunes. It was absolutely blowing up. And now all of a sudden, I was trying to listen to it today, and I was like, it's not on iTunes. It's not on Spotify. It's not on YouTube. It's not on Tidal. It's absolutely nowhere, man. So tell me about it. What happened?
We got my manager got like an email from a lawyer saying something about copyright infringement. You know, we use a sample from shout out to Mr. Probes. We use a sample Waves, the song Waves, and the producer didn't like chop up the sample like enough to where it could like legally like meet the requirements, you know. So um we spoke to Left Lane's Records. You know, my manager has been in like close contact with Left Lane Records, who actually Mr. Probes is signed to, and we definitely working it out. So you know, I didn't know that they could like take down the whole EP because of one song though. That was kind of surprising to me. But you know, I'm still relatively new, even like despite the success that I've had. You know, I'm still relatively new in the game. So it's some things I'm still learning, you know, that it's a lot of things that I don't know, like on the legal side of like how things are ran. You know, I just focus on the music, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy though that it blows up to the extent that it goes number one. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
that's the weird part is like, usually, and from what I've seen, is it'll get flagged before you get the meteoric rise,
yeah,
and then all
yeah,
of a
yeah,
sudden for it to be at number one spot, and then for it to be gone. Like it
yeah,
must have been like the weirdest feeling because I saw you posting on IG and I saw you like celebrating as you 100% should.
yeah,
And then overnight, it's like, oh, all this celebration, all this hard work that I put in.
yeah,
Now I got to fight this like legal battle, essentially.
yeah, yeah. So like it actually was like number. It was the number one. It was number one album on iTunes for maybe like 4 or 5 days before it got taken down. On YouTube, the video got taken down as well. Had like maybe like 300K views or something like that, somewhere around there, like around 300K views within like the first like 4 or 5 days as well. So you know, yeah, man, it went number one like within like 8 hours of it being out. So it was kind of crazy, you know, to just have like to just see that kind of like response to like work that you put in so hard. So it was really, like it gave me like great like gratification, to even see that still, despite like everything that happened, So
Have you, have the fans been like, we're on your boat now? Because I remember the last
oh
time we
yeah, yeah,
spoke,
yeah.
it like the last time we spoke, we were talking about, you know, being relatively young, you went to prison, you got out of prison, you were, you still made things happen. You had your track with Don Q, and like you were still making things happen. But have you seen a significant shift between, almost 2 years ago versus where you are now?
Definitely. I definitely had to like learn how to like, you know, be more humble, I would say, in a sense, like humble when it comes to like how I approach like other artists that I might want to I might need them for, like I might want to work with them, and like nobody's basically like the main thing I learned is like nobody's entitled to do anything for you, in this game, so to just be appreciative of everything that's given to you, no fan is entitled to, or no person is entitled to even like your music. So you cherish each fan the same, you have love for each fan the same. Like, this is why I try to respond back to everybody as much as I can, and just I try to just try to help out other like up and coming artists as much as I can, because this is what was done to me. And I would say what else I've learned was just like, of course, I mean, what you put into this is what you're gonna get out. We in the studio every night, grinding, perfecting our craft, working on different flows, uh working going to different beats, just things like that, just getting out of that one dimensional realm of like just only targeting this kind of beat or this fan base, especially with the goal that, we want to be the biggest in the world, hopefully, if uh if that with that being said, is like I would say like to become like an artist like as big as Drake or somebody like who I look up to, you got to just study like the other things that he's doing other than the music, like how he handles his business, how he carries himself, and things like that.
Well, I think it's interesting that you talk about entitled and like in a sense that you were entitled at the beginning and now you're realizing that that's not the right approach, that you have to look at everything as a blessing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you, do you see that in artists as well, that they come to you with an entitled mentality instead of like
Oh
more
yes, absolutely.
hat
I
in
mean,
hand?
yeah, absolutely. Like, like you got some artists, of course, you got different, I mean, it's all type of different people in this world though. So, you got you got a lot of artists that come humbly, like, ask for maybe like advice, how to market, or like maybe a verse, or like just like things like that. You know what I'm saying? Then of course, you always got people that feel like, like, man, who the hell you think you are? Like saying no to me, like da da da. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's just it's just about man, just staying level headed and humble, like no matter what, because that'll have people just want to be around you. You know what I'm saying? And one of the main things that I've learned is that things are always better done organically inside of this industry. So I try to like just make sure everything is done organically. Like I build relationships with people organically and nothing is forced, because the end result is always going to be better.
Yeah, I agree. And I find it weird that people like this is a profession, like this is your job. And it's weird to me
Definitely.
that people would approach you entitled. I get messages every now and again as well that's like, hey man, like let's do a podcast. And I'm like, that's not how you do it. That's not that's not the approach that you need to, or
Yeah,
it's like, hey
absolutely.
man, when are we doing the podcast? And it's like,
Yeah,
you got to
like never.
understand. Yeah,
Now,
that's not,
like now is never.
yeah, because it's like, you have to actually get the license to even have the conversation. And you're in a place now
Yeah,
where it's like, you can't respond to everyone as much as you try to respond to everyone.
yeah,
You physically can't. So if you're coming
yeah,
with an attitude, then why would you
yeah.
respond? It's going to be way too much trouble
Absolutely,
to be worth it.
absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. You're right. I just say like, how you approach people, like, how you approach people is 90% of if they're gonna like extend their hand, and like we have to understand, people have to understand that like like everybody needs somebody, especially in this game. So is I was told that by other like artists who are already established. Like everybody needs somebody. So just watch who like told you step on, whether it's no matter who it is in the industry, where it could be like a successful podcaster or artist, a blogger, anybody, just gotta watch who told you step on and just stay grounded, humble.
Yeah. And you don't fuck people over. I think that's the other thing of like, the only reason we are doing this again is because we did our first episode and it went well. Like that's the only
Absolutely.
reason you're back here is because number one, you wouldn't want to do this if it sucked, if the experience was shit, if it
Absolutely.
made your life difficult,
Absolutely.
and vice versa.
Absolutely. 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 Yep. Absolutely right. You're absolutely right, man. Absolutely.
Let me ask you because you said something about the copyright, which I found interesting, and I want to dive into this a little bit more because I've spoken about copyright on the podcast time and time again. I think some of my fans might be like, "You talk about it too much," but you said that you didn't chop it up enough. That's an
No, not me. I didn't chop it. No,
yeah,
no, no, not me.
not
The
you, but
producer.
the producer. But
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
song didn't have it chopped up enough. What does
Yeah.
that actually mean? Because I went looking from the outside in, I would assume that once you have the license to use a song, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So, if like a producer, like, and I don't want to put any blame on anybody, but because I truly believe that this producer just didn't know. Like I truly believe that this producer just didn't know because he's actually somebody that I've known, and that I still believe in to this day, that has come a long way as well. Very, very, very hard worker. But basically, you have to, you could only use like a portion of the sample. Like if it's too long, like basically the song had too much of Mr. Probe's voice throughout the song.
Mm.
And it was like him singing his whole, like, maybe if it was like a 16 bar, like, or like, but if you take like a four and just throw it in and just keep repeating that four, then that can be like acceptable from what I believe. But still, like I said, I'm still learning a lot of things like on that aspect because like I said, I just focus on the music, and us as artists, we trust the producer and we trust our team that everything is good. Once we get the beat, our job is just go um put our creative vision on the beat, and words.
Yeah, that's interesting. But I think you're right. That's what I mean. That's what you see in hip hop mostly is the same small sample used repetitively,
Yeah.
chopped up in different ways
Yeah.
to make it sound different and also
Yeah.
to just add complexity to the beat as opposed to,
Yeah.
like you said, using the full 16. I'm sure you would feel the same way when it comes to if someone was to use your bars as well.
Definitely. Yeah, 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 definitely. That's why I could never be mad. My manager is in conversations with Left Lanes Records. These people are very, very professional. I have the utmost respect for them. I'm a big fan of Mr. Probes. I love his work. That's somebody who I look up to. Um, and I would love to work with him. I would love to work with Left Lanes Records um, on this song and maybe whatever we have planned, and maybe whatever the future holds as well. So I'm just grateful that they even responded back to us and even gave us offer to like come up with a resolution for this. Because I know maybe some artists don't even get that. They just take your stuff down, and then these people never even hit you up. These people are very powerful, and I'm somebody who respects power, and um of course I didn't intend to like take anybody, you know what I'm saying? Of course not, it's me rapping on the beat or nothing. So it's not like I'm like stealing any bars or nothing, but I do understand the game, and Mr. Pro's voice being on the song definitely enhanced the song to be even greater than what it would have been if it wasn't on it.
Let me ask you this, because the way I look at this is like it's a blessing in disguise, because as you said, these people have power. Yes, they reached out to you for something that's not great, but on the flip side, you have you have a great opportunity now to establish your brand and be like, hey, okay, we made a mistake. I can still work through this professionally without, throwing blame. I can work through this professionally the whole time. I can show you that I can admit my mistakes. We can come to a resolution without getting into stuff, because there will be a lot of artists who, if the same thing happened, they just blow up
Yeah,
and they cause a massive scene. So in a weird way, it's a blessing that you get an opportunity to really show them who you are, how you
definitely,
and how you handle.
definitely, definitely. And it's like this too, how I look at it as anybody who I can put my music in front of for the first time is always a blessing. It's always great to put your music in front of anybody for the first time, but let alone, like somebody who I look up to, Mr. Probes and his label, so it's just I kind of like to look at the positive inside of it too and say, listen, uh, at least they know who you are now. Like they know who I am now. So, man, I take that as I like to pat myself on the back for that. Me and my team for all the hard work that we put in. And it was an innocent mistake, man. We would never try to like take anybody's work or try to like like degrade somebody's work or like make it less than what it is. This man is a legend in the game. The song has like 500 million views on YouTube. I saw it's crazy. So this guy is a elite artist,
Well, at least the song that you made isn't dog shit, because that would be 1,000 times worse. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
definitely. Yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Imagine that. You're a legend. Some guy uses your beat, makes a hit
It's
song.
like they take it down and don't even write you. Like, yo, like, are you kidding me?
That's
We're
what
not
they're
even gonna
like.
hit you up.
That's when you get the cease and desist. That's when it's like,
Yeah,
hey, we don't talk about this. You never put this out. You burn this. Like, this ain't never coming out.
yeah, yeah. Facts, facts. So yeah, man. I believe that everything will work out. Very good people over there in that camp. Very good people.
Let me ask you this, and you don't have to share if you're not allowed to, but what are the resolutions that are being thrown up? Like, what are the options that are being given? Because obviously, as you said, this is one song, but your whole EP has been taken down.
I really can't really speak on that. I think right now, not like I don't think I could speak on that right now, but I can say to everybody um that things are pretty good. These are pretty good people, These are pretty good people who I believe in me and the song. Um and they're showing interest in wanting to let me use the sample legally to and putting it back up, which is like an honor for me, So I look at this as like, man, this is like an honor for me for them to even say like, man, we consider it even letting you use it. We just got to work something out, or no matter what it is, like we got to work something out, and like legally, which I don't handle that part. I let my entertainment attorney and my manager and my other team handle that part. But like I said, it's just an honor for them to even um, recognize me and respect my talent enough to where they are gonna allow me to even do this.
Yeah, for sure. Well, as I said, it's like almost like a cosign in a weird way, where they're
Yeah,
like, all
yeah,
right, we see what you're doing here. We just got to get the paperwork right. And I'm sure your entertainment attorney is like, holy shit, this is the
yeah,
most work I've ever had from you, man.
definitely. Shout out to Dawn Florio. She's actually like maybe she's probably number one in the industry to me. Definitely.
Well, that's awesome. Actually, how did they approach you? Because obviously they would have got the letter, or did you personally get the letter? Like, where did the letter go?
My one of my managers got the email. Got an email. So yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. One of my managers got an email.
yeah. I'm sure that would have been a scary moment to begin with.
Huh?
It would have been like
Huh?
a scary moment to begin with.
Yeah. But you know, in this industry, you gotta roll with the punches and keep going. You know, so I try not to even like sulk or complain about anything. You know, just find a resolution to keep it going. You know,
Yeah, man, your attitude is awesome with this. Like, yeah,
definitely.
like just the way you're talking about it with maturity, with like understanding. I think that is, if anyone takes a lesson from all of this, it's not necessarily
Yeah,
that you can't make mistakes. It's just that you have to handle it.
absolutely.
You-
You know, everything is about your mentality first. You know, I'm big on looking at myself first in the mirror before I even turn around and see the crowd. You know, so um yeah, I'm definitely big on like taking responsibility and for things that I could have, as many things that I know that I could have done. Um and like I said, I have nothing but high respect and love for these people. I'm actually a fan of Mr. Probes, and I love the song Waves. I've listened to it uh for a very long time. And it's a different genre. It yeah, it's a different genre from what the kind of music that I do, but you know, it's well, the kind of music that I'm known for, but I definitely have listened to this song. That's why I sampled that. I definitely have listened to this song for a long time. It's got me through a lot. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely wanted to do it just to like more to like honor him and like just show him like love and appreciation for his craft.
Well, man, I'm sure they feel that way, and hence why you're working through those things. But I wanted to know, so your EP, it blows up, goes number one. Do you have labels reaching out and starting to be like,
Um, yeah, so I definitely have some interest right now. I don't want to speak on like no name specifically, but yeah, we definitely have been in talks for sure. Like like as far as with my manager.
do you think you're going to sign a deal at some point?
I definitely am looking to sign a deal that makes sense for all parties for sure.
Well,
I'm definitely not against like signing. Like how some artists be like, man, I would never sign a da 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 like whatever, like I just like as long as it make like, if we could sit down and come to an agreement that of like how it makes sense for me or why it makes sense for me to do this and I feel it, I'll just, you know, I just go with it. So that's what the process is right now is just seeing like what makes the most sense for me.
you might have to put in a clause there that you can do any podcast that you want, just so that like,
Definitely. Oh, definitely coming back, bro. Definitely. You know that,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
You know that.
Uh,
Sure.
Like
For sure.
it's
For sure.
interesting because it's like, you know, when I look at it, I'm like, well, you know, Rich Fam Nate, you did it not on your own, but you did it indie, and you've
Yeah.
shown you can make it indie. So it's like,
Yeah,
all of a
definitely.
sudden you've got a lot of leverage, and all of a sudden, if you were never to sign a deal, you've still shown that you don't need, like, you're not dependent on it. So it's an interesting
Yeah.
thing. Like, I'm wondering if you're the label, they must come to you and start saying things like they're going to be able to amplify your career, amplify your success, and just essentially maximize the things you're already doing.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it's more about me showing what I can do for myself and then uh just accepting like uh everything else that comes with it. You know what I'm saying? As far as like what comes after that. But like I said, it just goes back to my mindset of me looking in the mirror first and like taking responsibility for my own self, seeing what I can do for my own self first, and then when they come, you got to look at that as like you got to just be appreciative, But I don't wake up. I don't never want to like wake up and depend on anybody. And even when I do sign, if that's the route that me and my team decide to go, I'll still always do keep my same formula as far as like putting up my own money still, for myself, no matter what budget is behind me. I'm gonna always do I'm gonna always do what I have to do for my own self as well, as far as like for my career, so
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting signing a deal and doing it for yourself. I spoke to a little while ago, John Connor, and he signed with Dr. Dre, and he was on Dre for 5 years. Uh, uh, but they never released an album, and so he was on. I think it was the Compton album that Dre ended up releasing, and he was on a couple of tracks on that. But it is interesting that there are cases because, like, if Dre approached me personally, I would be like, uh, yeah, you're Dr. Dre. So I'm gonna I think I'm gonna come with that. And they're like, he's like, I know all these people, I know these legends. So, but it's definitely interesting to, see the potential and see the reality of like, and I think
yeah,
personally, it hurt his career signing that deal. He
yeah,
was in there for way too
yeah,
long, and he lost a lot of the fire in terms of just the heat from
yeah,
fans because it was like, what
yeah,
have you been doing for the past 5 years? And 5 years is a
yeah,
long time, but that's the caution of signing a deal.
yeah. So it's just all about, like I said, like I mean, I don't know. Shout out to him. But yeah, I don't know his like personal situation, but I know with me is just like I don't know the details of his deal, but I know with me, it's like I would always want to like be able to like uh do for myself as well. And I know that people, like if you have a partner and that partner continues to put into the team, as well, I feel like anybody will be grateful, or anybody will look at that as like just like a plus, so
Yeah. And to be fair, that's purely my own speculation on John. So that is
yeah,
he has said nothing but positive things about being signed. It was just
yeah,
putting two and two together. But yeah, he was an amazing person. Obviously, he doesn't regret that experience. But yeah, it's one of those. I mean, he
yeah.
was
Shout out to Dr. Dre, man. He's a legend, man. Shout out to Dr. Dre.
yeah. I
Like
mean, he was
you
rubbing
know,
shoulders with Dre, Snoop, like all these amazing artists, and it was just like he just didn't. And I have no idea why he just couldn't get that coming through. But obviously, you're making fire music, and we want to see you continue to build on your success and build on that momentum.
most definitely, most definitely, most definitely, man.
What have the fans been saying since it came down? Like the album was taken down.
People have been, so right now I have another so right now I have um I should be everything is gonna be good. I mean, as far as like people know me, I have a my attitude is always perseverance first before anything, So fans know that like something greater is coming, and a lot of people have been hitting me up with like just like positive comments like, yo, man, I know you're gonna put it back up, but also when's the next drop coming, or da 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 da. You have some fans that like decide to be like, man, what the fuck is the album, man, motherfucker, like da da da. You know what I'm saying? Like yo, so you know what I'm saying. But I mean, I take that all like I take that all as a compliment. Like no matter what people say about you, or no matter what comment is said, it's all a positive thing, because like to have fans or have people who you don't know that love you and adore you enough to go and comment to you because they're angry because your music is not up, is excellent, because like, we make the music for the fans. We make it for ourselves, of course, but we make the music for the fans as well. So, it's all a blessing, man. I do got another release on March 14th coming out. This is a big song coming in collaboration with Bel Air and AZ Productions. Shout out to AZ Productions and Bel Air for shooters. I have something big coming out, so that's what I've been promoting, and that's what fans have been excited for. But I'm also re-releasing all of the songs that were on my EP, except for the song that got the copyright infringement. I'm releasing them on the 13th, the day before my big drop, so that way it'll just be like a plethora of music that people could go in just check out after once they see the big drop that's coming.
Well, by the time this podcast airs, that will all be out. So your fans will have no excuse but not to continue listening to your music.
Definitely.
And it's super exciting, man. Like Bel Air is no small feat, and I will touch on that in a moment. But it is funny to me that your fans, there we go, he's wearing it. But it is funny to me that your fans are like, hey man, fuck you. I want your music. Like, where is your music? Like, it's the weirdest thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's like they're annoyed at you, but they're like, hey, I love that shit. Like, what'd you do? It's like a tease. And it's the funniest, contradiction to me of like, hey, I'm annoyed at you so much. Give me the shit that I love that you made for me.
Yeah, man. It's like I just be like reading DMs or like sometime I'll like be like reading some of the requests in the DM, and like I'll just be seeing like the craziest stuff, like you mother like you know what I'm saying, like yo, like are you crazy motherfucker, like drop the fucking music. I'm like, yo, like all right, man, I got you. So
yeah,
it's all love, man. I got the best supporters in the world, man. People who support me. I always say I got the best supporters in the world, man. Like shout out to them.
that's going to be my new strategy now with artists that I like. I'm going to tell them to go fuck themselves and tell them that I'm sick of waiting for their album.
Might work, might not. It might backfire.
Yeah. I might not get them on the show, I think, if I start doing stuff like that.
For sure, bro, for sure.
Well, tell me about Bel Air. How did that come about? Like, what was the story behind that?
So my manager has a great relationship with the team from prior years. And she basically like told them about me and offered them to look into me and see if they were interested. And they did their homework. And they did their homework and said we're definitely interested in him. They saw my potential. And they they called me in and we just started immediately. Shooting content. That's why like we started shooting content, did a video, just more work to come. I just want to give a shout out to like Connor, Miss Colleen, Lorenzo, Susanna, the whole team at Bel Air is real good people. My manager Susanna, she's definitely like looks at them like family as well. So do I, for sure.
And what's the potential with Bel Air? Like, where are you at now? Like, what does the deal involve right now, and where could it go?
I want to leave that for the people to see. Some things I'll speak on. Other things I just want to let happen, and people just start slowly seeing it little by little. So well, no, not little by little, fast by fast. That's a new saying too. Fast by fast. Because I always say it too. It's good to have patience, but too much patience is sometimes bad. Because if you're somebody who has too much patience, time could pass you by. Like or opportunity could pass you by with too much patience. But if you rush things too fast, if you rush things too much, sometimes you could well, we all know what happens when you rush, so it's best to say even kill. It's best to say even kill, But yeah, definitely we got a lot coming with like in the near future. A lot of work to be done, And the brand is definitely behind me 100%. I appreciate them.
You make my life very difficult as an interviewer when you're like, "Hey, I can't tell you about that." Uh, uh, it's funny.
Definitely.
But I definitely get it because I was like, if you were to ask me, who have you got in your pipeline and like, what are your plans? I'd be like, hey man, like maybe we talk about this off mic
Oh,
because the worst thing, and it's weird because you don't want to say it where you're like, hey, this could happen, and then it gets out there, and then people are like, hey, what the fuck? You said this would happen,
yeah,
it never happened. But then on the flip side, it makes you accountable. But the difference is, I guess, like I can talk about my own accountability, like in terms of things that I want to achieve. But if I start name dropping, going, yeah, I'm going to get this person, I'm going to get that person,
yeah.
then all of a sudden it leaves a sour taste in people's mouths of like
Mhm.
why you're telling them their business.
Yeah, and some things are better to be seen when it happens. Some things are better as a surprise.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely true. I mean, what happened was as much as it's weird. I was thinking about it when I very first started the podcast. I was like, when I start interviewing people, I'm not going to be interviewing the best artists in the world. I'm going to be start with people who are establishing themselves. I'm establishing myself as a podcaster as well. And so now looking at you, it's like I always knew there would be one or two that really hit great success. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
amazing to be able to see, like, literally 2 years ago, where you are right now, even both
yeah.
of us of like where we were. And I said to you off mic, like, the first podcast we did, I think you were on the street. I had the shittiest mic, I had the shittiest camera. I looked like absolute shit. It was so grainy. Like, this is way better. A lot of work to do
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
to still
Definitely.
continue with the growth, but it's amazing to see that we're both
Yeah,
getting better at the same time.
absolutely. I remember. Yep, yep. Absolutely. I just came home from prison. Yep. When you interviewed me, so yeah, I remember. Yep. Definitely, man. You definitely have been putting in work, bro. And like I said in the beginning, bro, I'm definitely proud of you. Um, you know, um, the perseverance, just like the you working through adversity and everything that comes with just the daily grind of just like the industry, so I'm definitely proud of you for continuing to look forward.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Obviously, I don't do it for the compliments, like you don't do yours for the compliments, but it always helps remind you that you're on the right path. Uh,
Definitely.
it,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
it is tough. Like, there are days, where you're like, ah, fuck me, man. Like, it's just a grind today. Like, just for whatever
Yeah.
reason, today is tough. Like,
Yeah.
sitting here editing is tough. Coming
Yeah.
up with new ideas, and like, I'm sure you feel the same way. And out of interest, how do you overcome those days? Like, how do you
I
get
mean,
past the grind?
I
Just
mean, with me, it's just all about who you surround yourself around, and it's all about like your mindset. Like as far as like me, I've been through like treacherous things in my life. That um like no kid should experience. Or like see. From like just growing up in extreme poverty and just things like that. Going to prison and things like that. So I always say like nothing. I always say like nothing in the industry that that I'll see or that I'll like go through will deter me from like my goals, of like becoming like the best artist that like I could become. So um yeah, I just remind myself of my journey, and just when you remind yourself of your journey sometimes it makes you be able to keep pushing towards your future.
Yeah. I love that. I think that's a fantastic perspective to have. When you think about it, does like the kid inside you like marvel at where you're at right now? Like as you said, you didn't you grew up in tough circumstances. You saw difficult things, you experienced difficult things. But now does
Yeah.
that, there's always a resemblance of that child inside of us, but is there a part of you that's like, man, look at where we are right now. Look at what we've managed to achieve.
Honestly, I'll say like a lot of the things that I've accomplished, like I think I'm a little like numb, in a sense to where like maybe I don't realize like in depth like what I'm really doing yet because I'm still in the midst of like doing it, and continuing to do it. I think a part of it is also me wanting more, like me just continuing to be hungry and want more. I think another part might be just me just like the humility inside of me. So, you know, um it's just a combination of things.
Yeah. It also sounds like you're looking at the next goal, which is where most successful people are is, and I think
Yeah,
we all struggle with that sometimes, is like acknowledging all the cool shit that we do and all the cool shit that's
yeah,
happening around us, because we're like, all right, I've ticked that box and like I want it to, and I'm not like as you said, being too patient is bad.
yeah,
So it's like,
yeah,
all right, I did that goal, set new goals, set new things. Let's achieve that. And so it's the daily continuance of wanting to push further and further that can stop you
yeah,
from really like living in the moment in the weirdest way.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. I'll say like, that's maybe like the biggest critique that humans have within themselves is not being able to like enjoy what they've done, like the fruits of their labor. But I think that like in life, if you take too much time to sit back and enjoy, you could be missing what you possibly could have been doing further from what you're trying to enjoy at the moment, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I just think about how many people would honestly lose fingers to trade places with you and live in that moment. But
Yeah,
that in its essence is why they're not in the place that you are. That's
yeah,
like the weirdest thing to say is like, if I was Rich Fam Nate, I would be doing. We cut out. I'm sure we'll get him back in a moment.
yeah. Man. I'm actually in Atlanta right now. This is where the Bel Air headquarters are. Well, one of the headquarters is one of the where it's not the headquarters. I'm sorry. It's where the Bel Air warehouse is. One of their warehouses that I work out of, like as far as like content, shooting content and things like that. So, um, yeah, I'm out here right now. So, we're making it happen, man.
Because where are you based most of your time at the moment?
Well, I'm from Harlem, New York. So yeah.
So how long are you in Atlanta at the moment
Oh
for?
man, I'm everywhere. I'm wherever I'm wherever I have to be for the purpose of the furtherance of my career. We'd be traveling all over the place, like, New York, Miami, LA.
Do you have plans to go internationally as well?
Definitely have plans to go internationally. I just did my first show with I just did my first show. I was seventh man. I was the seventh artist on an 8-man lineup. Bobby Smurder closed it.
Yeah.
I went right before him. He's the best he's the best performer I've ever seen in my life.
How so?
This guy's energy is unmatched. This guy is like he's an elite performer for sure. he's an elite performer for sure. He has the best energy I've ever seen in my life. Very good person too. But energy is unmatched. Performance level, crowd control, stage presence. Just he's the best performer I've ever seen. I'm being truthful. Like this is no like he's the best performance. He's the best performer I've ever seen.
So did you get
Crowd control is unbelievable.
So did you get to talk to him?
No, I didn't speak to him at the show. Just like we greeted each other as far as like that. But I didn't get to speak to him. But I was able to stand like in the DJ booth and like watch the show from the DJ booth, which was like crazy. I just want to end by saying I'm proud of you again, bro. Shout out to all my supporters. Shout out to the Bel Air team, Miss Colleen, Lorenzo, Connor, everybody. Shout out to Susan. I just want to say shout out to Mr. Probes as well. And Wave, despite my song getting taken down, man, it's much love always. And big things coming this year. Richfam Nate.
Yeah, and for sure. And as I said, absolute pleasure to have you on the show. I love having a returning guest, especially one such as yourself. And as we said at the top of the show, above all, we'll be back. It's coming back. There will be
Definitely.
a release. You've also got a single on the 14th, which drops as well. So you got the re-release on the 13th. On the 14th,
the single.
The single.
Yes. So what we're doing is we're dropping the EP not as an EP. We're gonna put it out as 3 individual songs, and leave off the song that got taken down, that got everything taken down, of course. And From the Bel Air Warehouse drops on the 14th, the very next day. So,
and that also
big things coming,
Big things, and it's also going to be out by the time this podcast drops, so there's no excuse. You don't have to wait. It's out right now. Go get it. Make sure you follow him on all platforms as well. IG, you've got him. You got Spotify. You got everything coming through. And if you're not convinced, just let me leave you with this. Anyone who's not convinced, Above All was #1 on iTunes before it got taken down. #1. It beat out Drake.
Yes.
It beat out Drake. I'm going to say that again. #1 on iTunes. So if you ain't in on Richfam Nate, you're missing out, because, man, I'm very excited to see what you continue to do. As I said, it's an absolute pleasure to have people back on the show, and I'm always a fan to talk to you, man. And I'm looking forward to seeing where you're at and where we're at the next time we get to catch up.
Definitely, my brother. Appreciate you. Shout out to Drake, though, man. We want to give respect to the legends of game. I'm striving to be where he is and 21 Savage is. So, shout out to them, man. I still bump their album. I listened to their album before I listened to mine.
Hey, it's no shade on them. It's just saying that you're making a name. And so, yeah, who knows? They might just have to do another good project to try and elevate themselves above you, my man. But yeah, definitely, we'll have to do this again.
All right, definitely, bro. See you.
Awesome. Cheers, man.
All right.